I was so sure I had talked about all the movies that I watched, and then I just realized I watched one today. Oops. So I have to talk about that. This is Mimi Leader's On the Basis of Sex. Now, Mimi Leader was a television director. She did China Beach and LA Law and all kinds of stuff, late 80s, early 90s. Did several feature films, including Deep Impact, Pacemaker, Peacemaker. Um, I forgot the one that Haley Joel Osment is in that like kind of tanked her career, and she did one more after that, and then sort of didn't do a lot. She had these two big action films, and then kind of went into director's jail. She's often cited um, as the woman who has flops, who was unable to get new features when men have many, many more flops than her and were able to keep making flops. Cough, Michael Bay. So she's kind of the perfect director to make this film on the basis of sex, which is, in a sense, a biopic of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, starring um, Felicity Jones. It was originally supposed to star Natalie Portman, and to be honest, I like Felicity Jones, but I think Natalie Portman would have been a better, better Bader Ginsburg. But that's neither here nor there because she's still good. It stars Armie Hammer. I don't like him. I've never liked him. I just don't like him. It's unfortunate that I don't like him because he's in everything. Um, but that's okay. And one of my faves, Justin Theroux. Now, Justin Theroux, obviously the star of The Leftovers, which was what mostly directed by Mimi Leader. She directed quite a few episodes in the first season, came in as an EP, and directed, I think, half the second season, and almost all of the most well regarded episodes of that show were directed by her, but also her creative input is why the second and third seasons are so friggin' good. So she gets to make another film finally. She had to like super prove herself, which is the point of everything. Um, the film takes you through about 15 years in the life of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. First, when she is a first year law student in Harvard, while her husband is a second year law student, they have a child, all the way through her groundbreaking case that showed that discrimination on the basis of sex is unconstitutional, which then obviously led to many, many more groundbreaking cases that she had over the decades and then became a member of the Supreme Court. The film shows her being discriminated against on the basis of her sex as she discovers this groundbreaking case, which is actually about a man. Because, as any woman will tell you, if you have an issue and a man has an issue, people will pay attention and fix the man's issue, and then it will help it so that it becomes better for you. But if the man was never having that issue, you're fucked, right? That's the history of the world. And this film does not know that that's what's happening here. Um, it is definitely a by the books historical feel good end of the year biopic. And if you do not like historical end of the year feel good biopics, then skip this movie. I think there are not enough of those kind of films about women. Watching this film in a theater full of women reminded me of watching a couple of years ago, watching Hidden Figures in a theater full of women, where we felt a community seeing women achieve, and specifically in Atlanta, seeing Hidden Figures in a theater mostly filled with black women who were seeing themselves and their own greatness projected was amazing. Seeing this film similarly, where a shared group of women shared an experience of seeing one of our own achieving such greatness and achieving greatness in a way that affects all of us, was revelatory. And I love seeing films like this in a theater because the energy of an auditorium like that is irreplaceable. And um, you can't recreate it. You need to experience it. There were a few mic drop moments in the film where everyone in the audience was like, "Oh shit!" And I don't know that a theater full of men would have felt the same way. And definitely watching it at home, you would go, "Oh shit!" But seeing like all the women being unable to stop themselves from going, "Oh shit!" when the when the mic drops, great experience. Um, I particularly enjoyed the relationship between Ginsburg and her teenage daughter. The teenage daughter was played by Kaylee Spaney. I'm not sure I've seen her in anything. Ginsburg seeing her daughter's reaction to the world in which she is now living in. This is 1970 for the bulk of it, and how different her reactions are to things allows her to see how the world has changed. And seeing how the world has changed allows her to find the end she needs to prove that the laws need to adapt with the times. And it's brilliant the way that's peppered in throughout the film. Um, and I felt the way in which the woman and the teenager sort of combated each other because they're so similar, and then found mutual respect for each other was beautiful, and I liked the way it was done, and it felt realistic and just wonderful, especially a girl who then would later go on to also be a lawyer and a law professor. Um, Most of the men are terrible except for the Armie Hammer character, who's her husband. He's like the one dude who is, for the most part, not terrible, although he is terrible a few times in ways in which he's like, I don't understand why this is a big deal. And she's like, here's why. And I liked that. Justin Theroux's character is an asshole. He is both respectful of her and completely disrespectful of her. He is like Mr. Microaggression, and I know a lot of people hate to hear the phrase microaggression, but like, I'm sorry, they're real, and this movie was full of them. And there's just these little digs that men did still do often to women, where you're like, you're not out and out insulting me, but you are, and I hate it. And there were so many of those, and you could feel all the women in the audience going like, oh, because we've all experienced the same kind of shit, and it's frustrating that you'd see 40, 50 years goes by and we're still feeling the same way, except that slowly but surely the laws are better. I also really liked, there were several moments in her classes where she's teaching gender law, and all these powerful women, up and coming, soon to be badass lawyers, are like learning from her and questioning with her. And it's a great passing down of wisdom, not just to her daughter, but to these other women that I really enjoyed. And they made this one dude in the class who was an asshole at the beginning a much better person, seeing his own misogyny. But there was a moment where they're going through all the different laws that prohibited the way in which women were allowed to behave. That if you know your gender law well, you know the cases that later changed these moments. Like there's one where it's like women can't be minors. If you've seen oh my god, I just lost the movie, the Charlize Theron movie, North Country. If you see North Country, you see how that changed, and then how women then became minors, but then there were a whole nother set of workplace discrimination laws that had to get changed after that one law got changed, because it's a whole cascade of changing of the way in which we function as a society. And that's what this film was about, and the way in which society has already changed, but the laws need to evolve with it. And I thought the way they showed that was really great, and those little peppered Easter eggs were good. And there's one more thing I wanted to mention. I can't remember what it was. Seeing Ginsburg at the end was lovely. So this is, it is a by the books, safe biopic, whatever. We don't have enough by the books, safe biopics about women and about women who changed this world, and we need more of them. And if we can have 8 million of these about men every year, we can have them by women too, about women too, and just, I'm okay with that. Like, not every movie needs to be groundbreaking. The whole point of this movie is that you need basic equality first, and then you can break ground. And the way in which the other thing I wanted to say is, I remembered, the way in which the film really showcased that these laws kept back men and women, and that it was keeping these rigid gender rules were restricting men and women, I thought was really powerful, because the whole point of feminism is not to make women better than men or make women more free than men. It's to make everyone more free, to have more choices for everyone. That's the whole point. And I think it managed to make that point really well. So this is Mimi Leaders on the Basis of Sex. It hit theaters last week. It is going, I think it's going wide next week as well. Check it out. I thought it was just wonderful. Definitely see it in a theater. Bring as many women as you can with you. I feel like you'll have a great moment. And even if you're a dude, go watch it with women and see the way that they feel by watching this film, and you'll learn a bit. I really think you will. Again, on the Basis of Sex, I recommend it.